The NFL handed out its fines for the Chiefs criticizing the officiating at the end of their loss to Buffalo in Week 14, and the NFL did not hold back. Andy Reid received a fine of $100,000, and Patrick Mahomes received a fine of $50,000. Mahomes is also cited not only for criticizing the officials, but also for unsportsmanlike conduct. That seems to appear to be towards his reaction on the sideline during the game and separate from his comments after the game. But the fine for $50,000 is a little over even the schedule normally for those types of penalties from the NFL. So the league was certainly trying to send a message here. Yes, there's a dichotomy between the $100,000 that Reid was fined and the $50,000 for Patrick Mahomes. Doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense when Patrick Mahomes makes more money than Andy Reid does. But this is the way that the NFL tries to send a message. Those fines are the biggest fines the NFL has levied this year that did not include a suspension and players missing games. Now, fines for head coaches are usually a little bit more of a mystery. We don't often hear about them unless they're leaked out, and players' fines are much more transparent than they used to be. The league now announces its players' fines each week. But the coaches' fines can be a little bit more opaque. And, the last time I remember a coach getting fined for officiating was Mike Tomlin back in 2018. And that fine was for $50,000. $100,000 is a little bit more steep. I think it certainly is a little bit of the league trying to send a message. Whether or not they consider Andy Reid a repeat offender, we don't know if he's been fined in the past. He has tiptoed up to the line in past years and that he doesn't want to get fined before he says something. So we don't know if there was any mitigating circumstances with the league as far as how they decided to deliver a fine to Reid. But Mahomes had never been fined before. This should be considered a first offense, and the $50,000 penalty does not necessarily reflect that. I mean, it is a hefty fine, but it's certainly in line with the league wishing to make sure that it tamps down on the criticism of its officiating crews. The last time that the league handed out any penalties like this, of this nature, that this significant, was last year when they fined the New Orleans Saints back in December of 2022 when they were accused of faking an injury with Cam Jordan, and they fined their head coach $100,000. A defensive line coach was fined, I believe, $50,000, and Cam Jordan was fined $50,000, and they fined the Saints organization $350,000. But those fines were later rescinded on appeal when the Saints won their appeal. So it's been a while since we've seen a fine of this magnitude handed out to a coach and player in the NFL. Do not have any word yet on whether Mahomes and Reid will file an appeal for it to appeal the fines. I sincerely doubt it. I think they're just going to take their punishment and move on for this one. There was no fine issued for Kadarius Toney for anything that he said on Thursday. Now, if the NFL were going to criticize or penalize Toney for anything that he said in Thursday, and really the only thing he said Thursday was just, saying that he was told that an official had warned him, and he denied that he had been warned. Whether the NFL deems that up to their level of reaching a finable level, the way that it happened, as late in the week that it happened, it would most likely occur next week. So let's see what happens with next week's fines. I don't think that Kadarius Toney will get penalized for that, but let's see what happens. Doesn't appear to be any other fallout from this. Obviously, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes will play and be on the sidelines in New England against the Patriots on Sunday. So no suspension of any sort, anything like that. And we will wait till we hear from those two gentlemen, which will be after the game on Sunday.